Welcome. You're listening to the Leading Hope Podcast. My name is VJ Williams, here with my friend and pastor Kevin Jack. Thank you for joining us and taking time out of your day to become a better leader. To be a better leader and to become a better leader. If you're new, we release a new episode every Wednesday. We would love for you to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform and also share this with a friend on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And please rate and review or both on Apple Podcasts. You won't believe how that helps get this in the hands of so many more leaders just like you, trying to get better like us. Visit leadinghope.online to get updates and find out more about the Leading Hope community. Kevin Jack. Today is episode 217.
217.
Thank you. It's 217. We've titled this, or you've titled this, Behind the Name Change, and we have the same shirt on.
We have matching shirts.
We have matching shirts. We planned this out. To be fair, you handed me a shirt and say, wear this.
Yeah, fair.
Which is just like planning out something. But this is a really important podcast.
So we coming out of big weekend, just announcing to congregation the name change of our church. And so we're pumped.
We are. We're ecstatic. I mean, the energy is high. There's excitement.
I'm not sure how many people are mad yet, but
yeah, but there's a lot of work to be done in light of
on
that.
this end.
In a good way. So
this is what I wanted to do is
behind the name change.
Yeah, so I kind of wanted to take people because getting questions on the process and how we went through it, and not critical questions, more curious questions than anything else. And just to say, for our people to explain in a little more depth and detail how we got to this decision, for other pastors and other organizations to maybe navigate, hey, this is what we went through. This is what we thought was effective in it. Maybe give people some ideas.
Yeah.
So I just kind of want to walk people through, this is how we got to it, to where we are today.
Yeah, that's good. That's good because we're in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And so you're getting a behind the scene of the middle of the name change, not the end of it.
We're just we have just passed the point of announcement. We are now on full implementation and integration.
It's a great setup.
Yeah. So I want to talk through today, my three categories I want to talk through is I want to talk through the difficulty, the decision, and then I want to talk them through our process.
Cool.
Okay. So here's the difficult piece, and this kind of reflected in how I announced it this last week. But a church is a spiritual community.
Yeah.
It is the thing. It is what we are. We are people of faith. And so some people call them faith-based community, but we're a spiritual community.
Yeah.
And then the tricky thing with leading a spiritual community is there will always be this tendency from a select few, not from the mass, but from a select few, to want to over-spiritualize everything.
Okay.
And it's every single thing, we changed the carpet. Did we pray about it? No, we looked at the vomit that was crusted into the carpet, and we just kind of rolled with it.
We kind of changed it.
And I believe it's important to be led by, and if you're a business leader and this doesn't relate, just hang with us, because I think the process pieces will be important for you. But what makes it tricky is while I believe it is important in all things to be led by the Spirit, I also believe that God gave you discernment and wisdom and intellect for a reason, that there are some things you can decide and navigate it. And as I joked about it on Sunday, was God told the Israelites to walk around the wall. He didn't tell them which way to go.
Yeah.
God sent out the 72 disciples to go preach his name and heal and everything else. He didn't tell them where to go. He didn't tell them how long to. He gave them a couple instructions, but he did not give detailed out plans.
Yeah.
And I think there's this tendency to go so here's the pressure that is sometimes placed upon leaders of spiritual communities, and then the faulty thing that they fall into. The pressure is well, did God tell you this? God hasn't told me many things.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I didn't make decisions. Every single night I'd go to eat dinner. I'm not just tell me which one, God, the chicken or the pork. Which way do I go? And then I look in Leviticus and I go, clearly not the pork. Oh my word. Sorry. Little Bible joke in the midst of the Leadership Podcast.
That's fun for everyone.
We make decisions at all times using our discernment.
Yeah.
And then it comes to leadership dimensions within a church. And there's this pressure to take off what you've learned and to just only pray about it.
Yeah, that's
and that
good.
doesn't work.
That's good.
And so then the thing that I feel like what happens that gets pastors in a really dangerous spot, and I don't want to get too deep into why they do it because my commentary would not be helpful, nor would it be kind.
Yeah.
But like pastors then get into this spot where every single decision they make, they want to say, well, God told me.
Yeah.
And the beauty of doing that is no one really disagrees.
Yeah.
And so like when I announce, I want people to be clear, like this is the thing for the vision that God has placed upon this community. This is a step we feel like we need to take to be effective.
Yeah.
God didn't tell us to do this.
Right.
Like we're trying to discern the best path forward.
Yeah, that's good.
And I always want people to know like there's a difference when I preach a message. Don't disagree with it. It's God's word.
Yeah.
Like disagree with it to your own peril when it's what scripture says.
Yeah, that's good.
When it's a decision I make, disagree.
Yeah.
Like that's perfectly fine. I may be wrong.
Can I ask a question about and I agree. I think we just need to uncover that just a little bit more.
Go.
God didn't tell us. No one, at least from the people that I've been talking to, no one said, God told me to change the name. Like
change the name.
Yeah, right. That was not happening. He did give us a vision.
Yeah.
Explain the difference, because I think that's important.
Yeah, I believe.
Because the name is the vision is very specific. It is not ordinary or routine.
I agree.
And it gives a very specific direction of which his people are to march to into battlefields.
Yeah.
And so while it's not direct, God, like you said, into the mic, I can't even do it.
Change the name.
Yeah, right.
That was a little too deeper. That was a little more.
Yeah. There is things that we can discern.
Absolutely. And so I just believe wholeheartedly is that like it says that God orders our steps.
Yeah.
Like it does say that. And like when God makes the plans, then we naturally know where we fall in line. And God gave giftings to different individuals to be used.
Yeah.
Not to sit on the sideline.
That's great.
And so this is as part of it. This is me. This is our team using leadership discernment gifting to navigate the best way forward in the vision he has given us as best as we can understand.
That's good. It's good. So what was the difficulty?
That's the difficulty.
That's the difficulty.
The difficulty is initially just navigating and just going like, here's how we march forward. And it'd be so, and I just want to say, like, I think it's spiritual malpractice. I don't have a better word for it. And I don't want to get heavy into it because it's where people start throwing stones at the church.
Yeah.
But I've been in situations where people said, God told me this, and I'm going, no, he didn't.
Yeah.
It's just your easiest way out. And you may feel strongly, but there's a big difference between I feel strongly about this and God told me this.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah, that's good.
and so I could get up and I could wave the banner and I could give you 1,000 reasons why this is the right decision.
Yeah.
But the communication has to be, I feel strongly.
That's good. Is there spiritual malpractice attorneys?
All right, let's keep going. So that's the difficulty. This is the decision part.
Yeah.
So I just want to, the decision that we were making was not what name. I love the name.
Yeah.
I want to be clear.
Yeah.
Like, and it's one of those, like, even if it sounds a little clunky at first, it's like your kids' names. Like when you first name them, you're like, is this?
Like I got to call them this their whole life.
This is it.
Yeah.
And then like you can't imagine them not that name later on.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. That's
So I think it's one of but like the decision we were making is, I wrote it down because I didn't want to miss it, is to say like, do the benefits for expansion and cultural clarity outweigh the pain of the process and the risk of upsetting people?
So good.
That's the decision. We're going like, we believe this is best for the expansion in campuses into different geographic areas. We absolutely believe this is best to help turn the page and clarify this is the church that we are. And I have a bunch of people come up to me all the time and go like in a really great, excited way, this is a new church.
Yeah.
That's a benefit.
Yeah.
But like, it takes a lot of time and there's going to be people who are upset. Do those benefits outweigh the risks?
That's so good. And I think while it's a new church, it's also God doing something new.
Yeah.
And I know that might be one and two of the same.
Absolutely.
But there's this thought of congregational transformation that happens when God intervenes.
Yep.
And he changes the atmosphere and the environments of which he's already created, but points it in a new direction.
Great.
And you brought that up a little bit ago with the, the wall there. I mean, the direction was the direction. You just had to go.
Yeah.
Go.
Yep.
Like, quit watching and stopping and moving this way and that way.
Yeah.
Go. And that's what I feel like that's kind of what we're doing. We're going.
And I always wonder, like, in some of those like biblical moments, like we just assume everybody was on board.
Yeah.
And to go, like, when Jesus fed the 5,000, where was any, like, it says the people were there and it was late and they were hungry.
Yeah.
And he tells the people to sit down. I want to know, where's the cranky husband who was like nagging his wife and like, let's get out of here. Come on, let's beat the crowd on the way out. Because I guarantee you that guy was there. Can we just acknowledge that?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Like, when the Israelites march around the walls of Jericho, well, God didn't tell us which direction to march, so I'm just going to stay here. I guarantee you those people were there.
I see that guy saying it.
Come on, crowd, sit down.
Yeah.
Seriously, we've got to get out of here now. Do you realize the line there's going to be in kid checkout whenever we get done with this here?
Yeah, and the important thing is we need the analytical thinker. Like, that's okay. Like, there's pieces of
I'm not describing the analytical so much as the cynical thinker.
Yeah,
we don't need that person.
Yeah, not the cynical. But I guess, the other persons that ask questions, that's great. We invite that. The thing that I think it would be helpful to hit on is some of the stories that unfolded as this process was going through the decision.
Yeah.
What was some of those things that you saw that maybe been confirmation or that you're headed the right way?
Let me walk through the process.
Okay, cool.
To get to that piece. So that's the decision we were wrestling with. Not, do we like it? Is it worth it? And just like, I've joked about this more so behind the scenes, but this is officially behind the name change. Yeah. Is to say, like, I was the one person who was saying, we don't need it.
Yeah.
Like, other people were like, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I think it would be great. Yeah, I think it'd be helpful. I was like, I don't think it's necessary. I don't think it's worth it at this point in time.
Yeah.
But I didn't make that decision on the front end. I was willing to walk through the process to figure that out.
Yeah.
So maybe this is, I'll go through this a little quick, but this is the piece that I think is most helpful if you're considering, is I wanted to identify who are the people who are impacted by the name change.
Okay.
And I went, yes, it affects our people in this church. It also impacts the community that we're seeking to minister to. It also impacts the denomination that we're a part of.
Yeah.
And so I said, like, I need some touch points in these three areas. And I'm not going to get into my touch points in the denomination as much because I don't think that's helpful.
Yeah.
But I will talk about the other two. So we took about 150 people through these rebranding meetings.
Yep.
So we met with like 10 to 15 at a time. You were in several of them. Yep. And we just kind of walked people through. And the thing that I was trying to figure out is to say, what are the parts of our culture that stand out the most? What are the things that, if they change, would be just antagonistic, would be considered wrong in your eyes? What do you think we should be known for? And then we just kind of left some. So what I did is I had about 10 to 15 people at a time. We had about 4 tables in the room, big notepads for them there. And I just asked them first off to write on this big sticky notepad that they could put on the wall. Like, what do you love about our church? Write all these different things. And then the second question I asked is, what if changed would cause you to consider leaving the church?
Yeah.
And that was fascinating to hear some of those because there wasn't many.
Right.
And it was interesting to hear some of the things that were said that I didn't expect. But it was like,
no, but
that's a problem.
Yeah.
Oh, there's an idol.
Yeah.
But to walk through that. And then I just said, all right, listen, here's the deal. I want you to write on this paper. I want your table to write 20 different adjectives to describe our church. Now, I want each of you to take a Post-it, and I want you to write the 2 adjectives for you personally, whether they're on the 20 or not, that most describe it. So what I'm trying to do with the 20 is I'm trying to give them a bank of words to think from, that they're not also rogue on their own.
Yeah.
But then they've got the opportunity. And that was fascinating to hear back. The most significant things were, we are transparent in our leadership. We are a transformative church. We are spirit-led but biblically based. We are, this word came out that I didn't have before, we are multi.
Yeah.
We are everything.
Yeah.
At all times. We're not trying to reach just one group of people.
Yeah.
We're trying to reach whole categories
Yeah.
of people. So we went through all that piece, and then I just kind of had this open discussion in each group and just kind of said, hey, we're in this rebranding process. We're definitely changing the logo and kind of the look of the church. We might change the name. What do I need to know? Some of the groups were a little hesitant. They're like, this is a lot. Other groups were like, yep, we saw it coming, which was hilarious to me. Yeah. Because I was like, I didn't see it coming. I was like, I did not know.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot to learn in those things. There was things that we wouldn't have known if you didn't have them go through that process.
Another thing that I learned that I didn't have my eyes on, and I don't think this was actually the person's concern. I'm not trying to overly judge in the moment or read between the lines. I don't think it was their concern. I think they didn't want to see the church's name change, and they were looking for a valid reason for it not to. But like one of the concerns that did come out in one group through one person was the cost of a name change. Yeah. So I went, okay, whether I think you're saying that for the right reasons, I'm going to hang on to that because I think that's important.
Sure.
Now, a really cool thing is another person that we engaged in the process, they saw the vision behind this.
They were part of the same meetings.
Yep. They saw the vision behind this. They saw the importance of it. And they said, if this happens, I will pick up the tab for all the signage changes. Yeah. So like that was just an amazing thing in the process to go. One person said this is a concern, and another person said I'll completely remove that concern.
Yeah, yeah.
So we walked through that.
Yep.
About 150 people. Then we did this community survey, and we wanted to figure out, hey, how does the community understand us? We felt like that would be less effective through conversation because that may be more intimidating. And so we just did a survey of different touch points that we had. And the big thing I wanted to know is the first question, and there were several questions on here that I learned. First question was, what do you know Highland Park for? And the last question was, if you were to attend a church, what kind of church would you be looking for?
Yeah.
And we had a spot on there where they could check, do they regularly attend a church or not? But like all the questions in the survey, that's really what I was looking for. Is how you view Highland Park the same as if you were looking to attend a church? Do those match up? And they didn't.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to go like, if they do, then if we change the name, it would actually be counter to everything else we're trying to do.
Yeah.
But if they don't match up, then this would actually be important. One of the things we found in that is we found the community doesn't know us by our name.
Yeah, that was the interesting thing.
This was hilarious.
It was wild for me to hear that thing.
Yep.
Now, I knew that coming in based on the position that I had been placed in when we first got here because of all the things that we would receive about being the church that has all the lights.
Yep.
So I knew there was something to that, but it wasn't until this meeting. What do we call those meetings? I keep referring to
rebranding groups.
The rebranding groups that you started to understand that this information is actually more than just what you're hearing on social media. This is actually filtered throughout the entire city and the community itself.
And it was like, what do you think of Highland Park? And people are like, I don't know what Highland Park is. Now, here's the hilarity.
Yeah.
Some of the people they were in our building for our sports ministry, and they didn't know what Highland Park was. Yeah. Which is just like
the church on both sides of the street.
You're literally in the building.
Yeah.
And you don't know what I'm referring to.
The church on both sides of the street.
And so, they knew us as the church with the sports ministry, the church that used to do the big Christmas thing, the church on Lakeland Highlands, the church by Sam's Club, which I think that should have ran with the branding. We could have been the church by Sam's Club.
Yep.
That could have been the new name and run with it.
They could have also foot the bill for the church.
Or the church on both sides of the street, because we have buildings on both sides of the street.
It was just fascinating that people didn't really hang on the word itself or the title that may be in a logo, so to speak.
So then I got.
Can I hold you here? Do we want to do part 2 on this one? Because we're almost out of time. Or do you want to finish this one?
I don't think I'm going to be able to. We've got 49 seconds left.
So do you want to do a part 2?
I think we probably should.
There you go. You got to come back for part 2. I'm going to stop him right there. Thank you for joining us. A little cliffhanger right there. Usually I would ask you if you want to end it here. We're not going to end it because we're going to continue.
I'll sum it up at the start of next week.
If you're new to the podcast or haven't yet subscribed, it would mean the world to us if you did that now. Also post about it, rate and review, or both. We're grateful for you. And we love hearing your stories, how the podcast is working in your life or business. If you have a story, visit leadinghope.online and send that to us. We would love to hear from you. Come back next week for part 2 of Behind the Name Change. That's going to be 218, right? 218. Yep. Grateful for you. And remember, everyone has 20 minutes to learn to become a better leader. Make it count. Woo!